Hey, I'm back again. We're still working on the 8th grade math test 2017, still in category 3. I know it's a long one, and this is part 3. Here we go. Question 26. It shows a bunch of squares, got a lot of numbers. It says when three squares are joined at their vertices to form a right triangle. What do you know about right triangles? Yep, Pythagorean theorem. The combined areas of the two is the same as the areas of the larger, true. Which three squares do not support this? Now, I have a great video in one of my folders that had like a pinwheel thing and it had like blue water. It was really cool. I did not make the video, nor do I take credit for it, but it was really nice to see. Look in those folders under Pythagorean theorem. All right, let's continue. So what do you know about all this stuff? So let's look at, I wrote you some notes. So here they are. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know that. Doesn't a squared mean a times a plus b times b equals c times c? That's true. What if the unit was inches? Wouldn't that be inches times inches plus inches times inches equals inches times inches? Would that be the same as that's a length times a length plus that's a length and that's a length equals that's a length and that's a length? That's all true. So wouldn't inches times inches be inches squared? And inches times each other again would be inches squared, and so forth. Inches squared, it represents area. So then if you have inches squared, that's area. That one's an area, and that one's an area. You need to know the difference between inches and inches squared, because there's a difference. Inches means length. Inches squares means area. And that's a very big game changer if you don't catch that part. Look down here real quick. Here's another short version. If you see inches, it could be a perimeter or it could be the length of one side. If you see inches squared, that's an area thing, and that's area only. It could be total surface area, lateral surface area, but it is area. Inches to the third, that's volume. There's only one, it's volume. So let's look at this question again. All right, so I'm going to use the formula. I got a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and that's the formula I'm going to use. What's that say? 3 centimeters. Is that a length or an area? That's a length. So then that would be 3 times 3. What is that? That's centimeters. So that's a length. 4 times 4. Does that say 25 centimeters squared? Do y'all see the difference? There is a big difference. That's already done. So that's 25. If it's squared, you don't need to write 2. They already wrote 2. Because that's really 5 times 5. All right? And I'm going to leave that one there. Let's go to this one. What is that? Yep, centimeters. So I should see 5 times 5. What is that? Centimeters. So I should see 12 times 12. What is that? 13. So I should see 13 times 13. Centimeters, you need to write 2 of them. Centimeters squared, you write 1 because it's already doubled. Let's look at the next one. Wouldn't that be 9 times 9? That one's squared. You only need 1 of these. And that one's not squared, so you need 2 of them. And what about over here? That one's not squared, so you need 2. That one is, you need 1. And that one's squared, you only need 1. So repeat. If it's centimeters, write down 2. If it's centimeters squared, write down 1. Because they've already did the work for you. So all you have to do is figure which one's right or wrong. So pull that handy dandy calculator out and start typing it in. I'd probably work off the home screen and see what you get. Alright, I went and did the work for you real quick. 3 times 3, 9. 4 times 4 is 16. Bring the 25 down. Added those together. Those match. Check mark. I'll go down here. 5 and 5. 12 times 12. 13 times 13. Add them together. Those work. Over here. 9 times 9, bring that down, 21 times 21, and those added together give me 225, and that's not 400 something, no. 36, 64 brought down the 100, those work. Answer is H. And again, what'd you learn? If it's centimeters, write down 2. If it's centimeters squared, write down 1. You got it. Question 27. You have a circle graphed on a coordinate grid reflected over the y-axis. The center of the original circle was xy. The ordered pair represents the center of the new circle after this transformation is which one? If you notice, you don't even have a graph. Now you do have that graph paper, you know, so the front of the test booklet that you tore out that you never get to use, that one. You could just draw a graph paper. I mean, it's not that hard here. So we could do that. So here's a graph. XY, if you notice, is positive, right? I'll put the circle right there. And I want you to name that point right there. Yep, that's a good guess. 2, 4. I like it. Why? Why not? I want you to jump over here. Because isn't this the y-axis? So if I put my circle over here, wouldn't that be -2, 4 to get there? And I know those points are not right by any means, but I got the answer. Now let's talk about some rules that you can memorize, or at least remember. They're kind of cool though. Let me show you. So here's reflection rules. You got x, y yields x, y. The order's not going to change. X, y, x, y. Now if it says reflect over the x, make y negative. If it says reflect over the y, make the x negative. So if you want the short version, do the opposite of the question. If that's true, which axis did they say? Y? So that makes x negative. Only. Those are both negative. Wrong. There's an x negative. Maybe. That's a y. No. There's no negative. Probably this one. 27. C. I was right. Let's do the next question. Alrighty, continuing on with category 3, I'm on question 33. And it talks about a right triangle. You have 2 of the side lengths shown below. You got an x. Yeah, usually. It says which measure is closest to the value of x in centimeters. Now, again, I like to check those units. Centimeters, 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 centimeters. We're okay. What are some of the rules y'all know about Pythagorean theorem? Y'all should know some stuff. I mean, really, I'm just pulling out a calculator and typing those numbers in and getting the answer. But what do you really remember? Which one's the leg? This one's a leg, and this one's a leg. Does it matter which one's A? No. So that's a leg, and that's a leg. So what is this? It's your diagonal. It's also your hypotenuse. Not hippopotamus either. What do you know about the hypotenuse? You're right, it's the biggest side. So if 39 is the big number, what should x be? Exactly. X should be less than 39. X is less than 39. It has to be, because the hypotenuse, short side C, is the biggest. Answer is less than 39. So why would you pick B and why would you pick D? I don't either. Now remember, these questions can be most interesting. I could ask you the area of this thing. I could ask you the perimeter of this thing. I could ask you to go on that this base here twice. So make sure you're reading it and that you're not missing some point, because X is pretty simple. And if you look at it, they're only looking for X. So that's a pretty simple question. So I'll use my calculator. So I'm going to do a squared plus b squared makes c squared. And I'll do 12 squared plus I don't know squared equals 39 squared. And I'll put all of this in y1 and all of this in y2. So I'm going to put the left side in y1. I'm going to put the right side in y2. Would it matter? No, but tend to be a creature of habit, and I tend to put the left first and the right second. So I've already typed it in for you so we can speed up this video. So I've typed it in, 12 squared plus x squared equals 39 squared. And if you forget the little 2, you can forget the little check mark too later. So I'm pretty sure my window of 10s are going to be terrible, but I'll test that theory. Now, I don't see a thing. Now, if you look on your calculator, you can probably, sometimes you see these little things going up and down, and it's thinking it's not working very good. I'm going to go to zoom. I'm going to push 3 for out. And then I'm going to push enter. And you'll see this thing going up and down, it's thinking. Now, I don't know if it picked it up or not, but we'll find out. Second, trace, 5, 1, 2, 3. And they're getting the answer of 37.10. How about A? Sometimes it shows up on the graph, sometimes it doesn't. If you're lucky, it'll pick it up because it's close. And if not, zoom out again. Answer A. Alright, I'm looking at question 38. It's talking about a rectangular prism, not pyramid. And the dimensions are shown below. They want total surface area, and you got to use a griddable. So, no guesses. What does total surface area mean? That's true. Wouldn't that, and you're correct. So that means you would take all the areas of the surfaces and add them. So that means if you lay this thing out flat like a net, you would count each square and figure out the area of each little box, and then you'd add them all together. Now, I've wrote out how to do this 2 different ways. Here's the first one. Let me get that on the screen. And ignore this. If I pull up the formula chart, and let me get that up. There you go. There's your formula. S equals pH plus 2B. P stands for perimeter of base. So the base was down here, 7.55, 7.55. And that's where I got that. The height is 6.5, and that's right here. Plus sign, I brought that over. I put the 2 right there. And base. Base is the area of the base, and this thing's a rectangle, so, or excuse me, square. So 7.5 times 5. If you type all of that in, and it's a bunch to type in, you get the right answer, 237.5. That's true. Now there's another way. You could just break it apart. The front square is 7.5 times 6.5, and there's 2 of them. You could do the left, that's 5 times 6.5, and there's 2 of them. And you could do the top, or the bottom, and that's 7.5 times 5, and that's 2 of them. And then you add all your totals together, and you get 237.5. They both work. It's just whichever one you want to play with. I drew the griddables out. There's some options there. You could neither don't put the 0 or put the 0. You can do the positive or not the positive, and I bubbled all your bubbles in. Be careful. Make sure you bubble the 5 and the 7, the 3 and the 2. And if you're worried about that, put the 0 in, so don't worry about it. Those don't need to be zeros. You could, but you don't have to. Place value. Watch your place value. Last question in category 3. Question 41. Container holds sugar, cylinder, the radius is 3 inches, the height is inches, all the answers are in inches, and it says for you to go get volume. You'll need that formula chart and go find that formula. I found the volume. Here is, where does it go? Cylinder. Volume's base times height. I copied it over here. I did draw my own picture. I did shade the base in because we all know I like to color. That base is a circle, and I'd like to see one on that base. And I'd like to see it colored just like I colored that one. It's real important to color it. And I'm going to recopy it. Isn't that a circle? Yeah. Wouldn't that be pi radius times height? That height comes down. This circle part is this piece. So I'm just replacing. Volume, pi. What's the R number? Well, they were nice enough to tell you. I think that's pretty nice. 3. What's the height? It's right there, 10.5. Type it in the home screen and it's home free. I typed it in the home screen. I'm going to lift that calculator so you get a better view. Put parentheses around everything because it's all multiplying. Let me scoot that over just a tad. There you go. Push the enter button and got 296. I think you should pick B. Why not? Pretty nice questions. Well, that was the end of category 3. See you later.